Hello and welcome to your first day in Dyson Sphere Program. My name is Rusty Water and I will be taking you on a journey through your first day in Dyson Sphere Program. This is a short tutorial. Well, we'll see how short it ends up, but it will include all the way up to making your first research science matrix. So let's get started here. We're gonna go new game. And we're going to drag the resource multiplier up just a little bit. I'd recommend a 1.5 to 2 times, especially if you're new to the game. It helps you get off to a better start and allows for more leeway. The galaxy type really doesn't matter. They all generally include the same or a similar distribution of stars types, and at the end of the day, they don't make a huge difference until way later in the game. So we're just gonna hit random a few times, and this one looks good. Zeta Delphini. We're gonna go ahead and start the game. There's going to be an AI robot that talks, and he talks quite a lot.
Welcome to the actual universe. You may find it's different from our homeland. Should you be able to adapt to the laws of physics in a short time, I am your advisor and will help you through this mission. Everything here is yours. As one of Cosmo and the pioneer of the Dyson Sphere Program, you will explore this cluster step by step. By using the resources here to construct the Dyson Sphere to provide energy for the center brain to maintain homeland, starting from scratch. I have chosen a designated planet for you to start the mission, which has necessary resources for initial development. Now please drive the space capsule to the planet.
In the beginning here, it pretty much sets you on trajectory to go straight to your planet. If you hold the W key and aim your mouse in the general direction of the planet, it'll get you to a cutscene that will land you safely on the planet surface.
Now you are about to reach the designated planet. This is Icarus, a lightweight industrial mecha with powerful functionality. You can use the arrow keys or right-click on the destination to control its movement. In this mission, you will manipulate Icarus to travel beyond the stars and create miracles.
So you can remove.
Now try to recycle the space capsule. Right-click on it to recycle.
See, he got me. I thought I was going to have a minute to talk. You can move with WASD, of course. He said the arrow keys. Well, now that I try the arrow keys, I've never actually used the arrow keys. I don't know why he says arrow keys. But you can use WASD to move here. You can select things with your mouse. He wants us to recycle the space capsule. So if we right-click on the space capsule, we'll start to break it down. It takes a little bit.
You can use the same operation to collect resources, such as trees, gravel, etc. In the meantime, hold down Shift and right-click to give a series of commands.
So you can see we picked up a few items here.
After recycling the space capsule, click the inventory button in the lower right corner of the screen to open the cabin to view them.
He pretty much does my job for me, huh? So you can see we received 4 items here. We got hydrogen fuel rods, iron ingots, magnets, and copper ingots. We'll use these in a minute to craft something useful, but for the time being, I'm gonna...
You can hold down mouse
he's speaking again.
to rotate the angle of view. or slide the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Yet you have not unlocked the construction menu, which will be done automatically when complete any technology research. Click the technology tree button at the bottom right of the screen to open the technology tree and activate a research.
You done? Okay, I think I may get a moment now. These hydrogen fuel rods can be used to fuel your mech here, Icarus. As you can see down at the bottom here, this is your energy meter. You do slowly regenerate energy over time, but as you build things and as you walk around, literally any operation you complete with Icarus, crafting things, takes up his energy, so you're going to need a bit of spare energy. Now these hydrogen fuel rods are a good start, but they won't end up lasting that very long. To put them in your Icarus, hit the C key on your keyboard to open up the Mecha panel, and then you can drag and drop in here. Now you can also hold shift and click in, just like, you know, Minecraft or other popular games with good inventory management systems. And if you control click, if I had more than one stack of hydrogen fuel rods here, for example, if I hold right click, I can break the stack into two. And if I were to shift click just one in, it only puts that stack in. Now, if I do the same thing and hold control click, it puts both stacks in. So that is some basic inventory management. You can see it has a little tip down here, and it will also provide tips along the right. So the next thing we must do, is select a research. You can access the research tree by hitting the T key on your keyboard or clicking this button. Our first task here, you can see, this is where we start, Dyson Sphere Program, and there's a large main quest line. We want to click electromagnetism here and click activate. Hit escape to exit that menu. As you can see, we now have this window over here called manual research, and it says we need 10 magnetic coils. Now magnetic coils, you can see, are made out of 2 magnets and 1 copper, and they make 2 magnetic coils. So we need to make some of those. We don't have any machines to do it for us, so we need to craft it in our inventory. We can open up the fabricator by hitting the F key on the keyboard. Apologies, the replicator, not the fabricator. I just say F fabricator, but tomato tomato, right? So you can click the magnetic coil recipe here, and it says we can only make 5, but we need 10, right? Well, actually, we're making 2 every single run. So if we craft 1 here, we actually get 2 magnetic coils, which automatically start the research process. So now we can make 4, but we need 8, which is fine, because we'll get 2 out, and 2 times 4 is 8. So if we go to 4 here, this is your multiplier down here. You can increase or decrease this, and if you hit produce, it'll make 4, or however many you specify, up to a max of 10 times. So now you can see our manual research is automatically ticking down over here on the left side, and we'll just wait till that completes. In the meantime, you can gather some trees and some rocks, and as he described, you can right click things and queue them up by holding shift. So holding shift and right clicking items to collect some resources. So I'm just going to click a couple trees around here. If I hold the middle mouse button, as he said, I can angle my camera. Scrolling the mouse wheel zooms in and out, and I can pan by holding in the middle mouse wheel. So you can see we're collecting up some stuff now, and we got our research done. Our first research, electromagnetism. You have unlocked a new automatic mining machine, which will automatically collect ores for you. Of course, its capacity is limited. You may wish to transport these minerals to the smelting facility automatically, which is kind of a hint to what you need to do next.
You have created a mining machine to achieve ore collecting automation. Pick it up from the inventory, or select it on Gathering of Construction menu to build it.
So now by unlocking that first research, we have enabled our construction menu down here at the bottom. Hotkeys are very important in this game, and I recommend you learn as many as you can. They are very useful, but they also make them very extremely easy to learn. They are very intuitive, so there should be no issues there. To select a category, you can hit any one of the number keys up to 9 on your keyboard, except for we only have the first 2 unlocked, which is power and gathering here. So if I hit 1, now that brings up a secondary menu, which we can then hit one of the F keys, F1 through, I believe, maybe F9 or F10, to select one of these items to build. Under power, you can see we have a Tesla tower and a wind turbine. Those will come in handy in just a second. But first, let's place down our miner. I want to find an iron deposit, because iron is used a lot in the early game. We will need some copper, but it's not nearly as important as iron, so it's better we get this running first, although it really doesn't matter in the long run. Just getting that first initial iron will help us get up and going even quicker. So I'm going to, on my construction menu, hit 2, F1, and now I'm in building mode.
You can use the R key to rotate the mining machine for covering more veins. The more veins covered, the faster the ores will be gathered. If you want to ignore grid snapping, try holding down the shift key.
So you can do things that ignore grid snapping in this game. The only time I'd really recommend using it is when placing miners. So I have a little technique of placing a miner in such a way that it covers the most ore veins. You can see the miner will affect the ore veins that it is over, and that means it will mine faster. So what I want to do is actually I can hold the right shift with my left pinky, my left hand pinky, and then with my left index finger and left ring finger, I can hit the left and right arrow keys to rotate this building. If I hold the left shift and hit R, there's no real way to go backwards at the moment in the game. So if I just move my hand over, hit left shift with my left pinky, and the arrow keys with my other fingers, I can very easily rotate and position this in a way that gives me the most optimal ore coverage. So I'm just gonna go around here a little bit. This looks like a really good spot right here. I can get 2, 4, 6, 8 ores here, which is going to give us quite a good throughput. To deselect the item,
one of your production facilities is not powered. You need to keep it within the power coverage area and supply it with power facilities in order to maintain its normal works.
to deselect when you are building, such as this, you can just right click and it will deselect the item you are trying to build. But now is when these power generation comes in handy. See, we do not have any power going into this mining machine, so it is not going to be mining. To remedy that, we have two items here, the wind turbine and the Tesla tower. The wind turbine generates the power and the Tesla tower transmits it, as you'd imagine. So first, let's place a wind turbine. Let's place it over here, and our little robot will go out and build it for us.
Wind turbine. You have established your first power grid. Not all power facilities has its power supply area. Use the Tesla tower to extend the area of the power grid.
If we click on this wind turbine here, you can see it is generating us 300 kilowatts. And clicking on any power source or power transmission will give you an entire overlay of the entire connected power system. So when I hook this up to other things and other machines, you'll be able to see how much power is being used and how much power is being generated, along with some other useful statistics. The specific wind turbine, as I said, generates 300 kilowatts. And there's 0% power load because there is nothing connected to it. So let's connect something to it. We're going to select this Tesla tower here, and if your building menu is not open, hit F1, and you can see that there is a little dashed line between the Tesla tower and the wind turbine. That denotes that they're connected. If I move it further away, the line breaks and they are not connected. The circles do not need to overlap necessarily for power to be transmitted. So I can be here, power is still transmitted. I can be here, power is still transmitted. Overlapping does not cause any inefficiencies. It's just the area of which this Tesla tower provides power. Now, if you look over here at the miner, when I bring up a Tesla tower or anything that deals with power, there is a small gray circle underneath that mineral icon there. Underneath the iron ore icon, there's a small gray circle with an empty center. Now that empty center will fill once it is being powered. So if I place this here, you see it's filled, not filled. It's filled, not filled. So that just shows you that the facility will be powered when I place this Tesla tower. So now it's mining.
You have done building the first power transmission facility, Tesla Tower. It can carry out short-distance wireless power transmission and expand the power supply area of the power grid. Click on it to view the current power grid information.
So right now, well, it is stopped mining now, but you can see it idly uses 24 kilowatts while not even doing anything. If we click on this Tesla tower, you can see that's the 24 kilowatts being used, that little yellow sliver, and the teal is what is being generated. And you can see consumption demand and current generation, so it's filling that demand. If I take this ore out, you can see things change, and there's a little bit of a problem now. There's only 71.4% satisfaction because the mining machine actually needs 420 kilowatts, and we are only producing 300 with our singular wind turbine here. So you can see the power load is too high, it's not generating enough, and the mining machine actually does not work at peak efficiency. See, this should be over 200 per minute because we're covering 8 veins and it should be gathering quite a few. But because we're only working at 71%, we're losing about 30% of efficiency. So what we need to do eventually is add some more power. For the time being, this is all we need. So you can grab a couple stacks here of iron ore. And I think we should look at our next research. Hit T. And I think we should store some of our ores here. So we're going to go for the basic logistics system, which requires 10 circuit boards and 10 gears. Go ahead and hit activate. And we'll do the same thing. We'll go to our inventory and our gear here. And you can see we can make 160 of these. We're just going to go ahead and make 10. Put the multiplier up. Click once. And then we'll see what the circuits take. So the circuits we can only make 5 of, but this is like the magnetic coil in the way that it's a double recipe. So every one we produce, we will get 2 out. So we can go ahead and make 5 of these, and we should end up with 10. Once those are made, you'll see over here in the manual research, will automatically start working. While you're waiting, you can go ahead and cut down a few more trees. We will need these for fuel in the near future. Because if we hit C and open up our Mecha panel, we're down to 3 hydrogen fuel rods, and you can see this one is going away very quickly, cutting down these trees. Go back to your miner. You can be a decent, as long as you can open the miner interface. See, I'm clicking on it and I cannot open it here. But if I get closer and I can open it, I can take the inventory out. I don't have to be right next to it. As long as you can access the inventory, you can manipulate it. So now you can see our research has finished. You have unlocked automated logistics, the conveyor belt and sorter. You can use them to automatically transport the ores gathered in the mining machine for smelting or to load them into storage, which is exactly what we would like to do.
You have received the sorter and the conveyor belt, which can achieve full automation now. Use the conveyor belt to transport the piled up ores from the mining machine, and the sorter can deliver the ores from the conveyor belt to the smelter for automatic smelting.
As you can see down here on the building menu, we've unlocked 2 new categories, logistics and storage. If we open up logistics with 3, you can see F1 and F4, we've unlocked conveyor belts and sorters. Sorters are what remove items or place items into storage or into smelters or into fabricating machines when you're crafting things using machines. There are certain buildings that will allow belts to remove the items, such as these mining machines here. So if you go ahead and hit F1, we're in building mode.
When putting a conveyor belt, all you need to do is determine the starting point and the end point of it. In addition, use the up arrow key to lift up 1 level, and use the down arrow key to drop down one level after the conveyor belt is lifted. Press keypad 0 to reset the construction height of the conveyor belt to the ground. If you don't want the conveyor belt to be attached to the building, you can try holding down the shift key.
So we can go over here to this facility. If I hover over it, you can see this little tile pop out here. That denotes where the belt will be starting from. And I can be anywhere on the facility as long as I am within the facility's box, so I can click over here, and it still allows me to draw a belt out of this facility. If I right click, it will stop my belt drawing, and I can click again, anywhere again, it will start the belt drawing. If you see a little red icon, that means the belt cannot be placed that way. It's usually that happens when with the mining machines. You can't immediately come out and do a curve, because I would like to store my ores over here, but you can see there's a lot of conflicts right now. So first of all, when you do make a mining machine, come out about 3 or 2 spaces here. Now we can try and draw over this way. And our belt is still not quite going the way we want it. Now we could like draw over here and draw over here like I want to, but a better way to solve this problem is if I just hit the key R on my keyboard in belt drawing mode. Look at that, it flips the belt. So now I can place that, and I've got a nice belt coming out of my miner. And it will start to, you can see, put iron ore on the belt. And we'll just wait for our guys to finish building this here. And there you go, we're getting iron ore. Now, belts do not require to be hooked up to power, but sorters do. So next, we're gonna go ahead and store this ore. I'm gonna go hit 4 for storage, and it looks like we don't actually have a storage Mark 1 box to use. So we can, a useful hotkey to get a recipe or to craft something from the construction menu is if you double click or double tap the key associated with the item. In this case, storage Mark 1 is associated with F1. Double hit F1, it automatically brings us the window to craft it. Now, because we destroyed some of those stones, there are stone nodes in the world like we do have here with the iron, but because we destroyed some of those rocks, we have some stone we can use. Because you can see, one of the materials for this storage Mark 1 is this stone brick here. So we have the stone to make into the stone bricks to make into the storage. Now, if you've already noticed, I may have done it already, but if you have the materials required, the base materials for something, even if you don't have the stone bricks, you can see the recipe is just the stone here. It will automatically smelt the stone within your inventory replicator to then build you that item. It'll queue everything up and build the thing last. So if you watch, I'll click here, you can see it's actually smelting some iron ingots for me, some stone for me, and then actually builds the facility. Another useful tip is when you click in to see a recipe, you can see what that recipe results in. So I've got another icon here, I can click up. So I can go down in the tree, and I can go up. So a useful tip there. Now we have a storage Mark 1. I can go ahead and hit 4 F1. And I'm gonna place it about here. In fact, this is a good moment.
Storage, which can be used to store cargo. You can manually store or use the sorter to automatically stock the cargo.
This is a good moment to tell you about the dismantling. Dismantling just destroys whatever you click on. I think I've done it a few times, but if you hit the X key on your keyboard, X, it's a good shortcut there, then you can dismantle. Just like that. And if I click and hold on a belt, I can destroy several at a time. Now, I don't want to do that, so let me hit 3 F1, build those belts back. Now, I actually decided I want my sorter, or my storage, on the other side of the belt. So I'm going to hit X, destroy it, 4 F1, and place it here. Now it's on the side I like. You like to leave a little bit of space around these nodes because you can have multiple, I'd say up to 6, sometimes even more mining machines around a singular ore patch to get maximum efficiency. Just for this early stage, 1 is fine. Now we are going to start storing some of our ore. So I'm going to go ahead and take a sorter Mark 1.
The sorter is a transportation connector of cargoes between facilities. It will automatically transport them as long as the supply facility and the receiving facility are bridged.
So that is 3 F4. We get a sorter Mark 1. Now you can see it starts to snap to the conveyor belts, and when I hover over the facility, I get a bunch of those gray squares. So you can see both the connection points on the ground and the side of the building. This has 3 connection points on every single side. And when you want to output from something, you would click on the facility and go out to where you wanted to put it out. If you want to cancel this, right click. If you want to put in, you go from the belt here, this yellow dot icon, and then you can click anywhere on the facility. It doesn't have to be necessarily these gray tiles. And you can actually see as I move my cursor up and down the building, it changes the location that these are being inserted. So that's a bit of a useful tip there. So we'll just go right here in the middle. And now, because the sorter is powered, you see it's within our range and it has a little dot underneath it. It's being powered. Now, as you can see, we are struggling from some power issues right now. So maybe let's see how to get some more wind turbines. If I hit if I hit 1 and then double click F4, that brings us to the wind turbine. You can see we're missing some stuff. So if we click on the red thing here, the magnetic coil, you can see we're missing copper ingots. What that tells me is I need to go mine some copper. I know there's a node over here, so I'm gonna go do that real quick. I'll come back once I've got about 50 copper or so. You can hit E to open your inventory, as has been said. And 50. If you just walk away from the ore node, your guy will stop mining or queue up a move command. Let's walk back over here so we can get access to our iron. If we click on the storage box, you can see it's starting to fill up. We don't really need that much stored up, so we can actually change this variable down here, capacity for automation, and it's just a slider. And we're gonna put it at about, let's say, 2 stacks of iron. That's probably good. Now, once this fills up a second stack here, it'll get to 100, then the sorter will no longer insert stuff into here, but we can still put stuff wherever we want. It's just once that stack fills up there in about 5 seconds or so, it will no longer insert, and we can watch that happen here. Now you can see it is completely full up. We can still put stuff in here. As I said, we need to make some wind turbines to deal with our increasing power demand. You hit 1, double click F4. You can see now we can make 30, which is quite a bit. We'll make 5, and you can see it queues everything up automatically. It's going to take about 90 seconds, which is quite a bit of time. So while we wait, we will go ahead and look at and try and find some stone and some coal. I don't see any around here, and usually the planet will drop you in an area that has them. So let me just take a look around here. There is some stone over here. There's some more iron. Where is coal? We will need coal to power our robot. As you can see, we're on our last fuel rod here. If you completely run out of power, it's not the end of the world. And we can also use this plant fuel here and these logs to power our robot, so it's not the end of the world, but coal is one of the better powers early on. It looks like there's coal all the way over there. So we may want to move everything over to here, if I'm honest. So let me go back. I'm gonna grab everything and move it over here so that we've got a solid base. We've got copper here, we've got iron, stone, and coal relatively close. Now, as much as it would be funny to watch a robot swim, he doesn't quite like water. So once you get to a certain depth, he will just start flying. But keep in mind, this uses a lot of power. Okay, so I've reset up over here. We have our iron mining again. Don't forget, if you ever move a storage box, it does not retain its set capacity for automation value. So we're going to go ahead and close that back up again to about 2. And if you can see, I just hit this button on my inventory. It's kind of a habit, and I didn't even realize I did it until I already did it. Basically, what this little back arrow does is, I've probably done it a few times, honestly, in this video, but if you hit this back arrow, it'll just sort your inventory. If you've got a little bit of a mess going on, things are kind of everywhere, a little disorganized, you just hit this and it'll organize everything for you. I placed another wind turbine here, and it's just enough to satisfy our power needs, so we are good there. We don't have any Tesla towers, so I'm gonna double click that. We're gonna build some more. We'll build about 20. You can see it queues everything up, but that's another 100 seconds. We also need some more miners. I'm gonna build 3 of these. Let's build a couple more storage boxes. I'm gonna build 3 of those. Some more assemblers. I'm gonna build 10 of those. Some more belts. These is like the components we were making, the magnetic coils and the circuits. They were 2 for, this is a 3 per, so if I build this 10 times like that, I'm actually getting 30 belts out. So I'm gonna do that a few times. And now this is a quite long replicator queue, about 400 seconds. We will need all of these things, and you can see our power is slowly going down. We are out of fuel. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually, for the time being, just gonna chuck some wood just to tide us over, and I'm gonna walk over here and mine some coal manually. Soon, very soon, we will set up a miner on a few of these essential nodes here, but for now we just don't have them built yet, and we're running out of fuel, and we need that fuel to build them. So I'm gonna manually mine some coal here, and if you look at the statistics here, you can see it gives us a 2.7 megajoules, and the fuel chamber gen is 0%, which is good because if you look at the wood here, the wood only gives us 1.5 megajoules and is a negative 10% fuel chamber gen. That modifier, the negative 10%, means that it's less efficient. You can see the plant fuel is even more or less efficient and only gives you 500 kilojoules. So coal, for now, is the best power source for us. We can shift click that in there, and now it'll start burning the coal. You can reorganize this, it'll burn everything from right to left. So now it's back on the wood. We're gonna keep clicking this in here, and we'll take the wood out for now. Now if we stop mining, you can see we are gaining energy back, and we are still crafting here. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this replicator queue finish, and I will be right back with you. Alright, while our technology queue finishes up, it looks like we've crafted our 3 mining machines. You don't have to wait. If you want, you can keep going around and collecting resources, destroying trees and whatnot. You won't need a ton of tree resources now that you've got coal for power. But, you know, you can go around, explore, you can hand mine some stuff if you want, so I'm just showing you what I would recommend, or just getting a lot of extra stuff ready, because I'm prepping for building quite a few things. So you don't necessarily have to do that, you can keep proceeding. But you can see our coal has actually gone down quite a bit already, and moving takes quite a bit of coal. So what I'm gonna do is go over here and start our coal mine. If I hit 2 on the keyboard and hit F1, that brings us into building mode with our mining machine here. And we're gonna go find that right spot that itches all the right nodes. So I'm gonna hold shift, right shift, left pinky, and see what gives us a good spread here. That gives us about 8, so we'll go with that one. Again, 8 is quite a lot. If you can get about 6, that is a pretty good number. Now we will need power over here. And our power is all the way over here. So I would like to connect that up. Let me hit 1, hit F1, and now we can get some power Tesla towers over here. If I get it within enough range of this Tesla tower, you can see it'll link up there with the dashed lines. We'll do the same. It does it even if one is in a blueprint sort of mode or waiting to be built, which is nice. We can go to about here. And about there. All the way over. Now you can check that little dot there. If that dot is filled, then it will be powered. Now if we check our power, you can see we're still good here. Now the issue is we have 2 wind turbines right now. Each generates 300 kilowatts, but we have 2 miners. The other miner is currently idling, so it is only taking 24 kilowatts, as is this one. And the problem becomes, now you've got 2 mining machines, both needing 420 kilowatts. That equates to 840 kilowatts. Now we can't produce 840 kilowatts. So you need to add some more wind turbines. So always keep that in mind when you add new buildings that do things, new facilities, you're probably going to need to add more power. Always keep an eye on that. You want things running at peak efficiency. I'm going to hit 3, F1. We're going to build our first little belt out of here. And then we're going to run it not very far. We're going to go to, say, about here. We're also going to hit 4, F1. And we're going to store it in a box here. 3, F4. You can only place these sorters on belts that have been built for the time being. I hope they change that in the future, so you can really cruise along, but for now, it's fine. So we've got a few sorters now, so we're actually going to put 2 sorters on this one to put even more coal into this building. We're going to need some for fuel and need some later, so we're actually going to cap this at about there. So now we've got some fuel now. Shift click that in, hit C, shift click. Now we've got more power generation. You can see we've already got some more. Shift click, shift click. The miner is mining faster than the belts can carry it, so we can shift click out of the miner as well. And then hit C, shift click in, click the miner. You can see it's going slightly quicker than the box can fill. We can click out of the box here, hit C, shift click in, and that should do us for a little bit. We can come back and get a full load later. Let's fly back over here. Now we have copper here. This could be our next node. And we also have stone. Let me see what our options are here. Yeah, we'll take this copper here and that stone over there. If you just want to go ahead and do the same things that I did with the mining machine and the storage, I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick here. Now, as you can see, with 2 mining machines running right now, this power line is actually going between blue and yellow. It's hard to see in the daytime, but you can see it kind of goes blue and yellow. The yellow means there is too much demand and not enough power. If we click on this Tesla tower, you can see it jumping back and forth. When they're both running, we're only getting 63% satisfaction. And you can see that represented here too, which is not as efficient as it could be. When you place your storage, don't forget to mark that off. We only really need about 2 here as well, just like the iron, because we're going to be smelting that very soon. But to remedy this power situation, because we're also going to need stone, we've got some wind turbines here. Double click F4. I'm going to queue up a few more of these, because we're going to need quite a bit this early game. There will be more power options later on, of course. For now, we'll queue up some more. We'll just have those build in the background. In the early game, it's good to always have something building that you might need. Keep a general inventory check on everything you have. Always have multiple of something. Mining machines, you know, maybe I want one more of these handy. Power. We're making wind turbines. I might maybe want to make some more Tesla towers here. And if you don't have anything, of course, it will tell you. Logistics. I want some more sorters, and it looks like we're out of circuit boards, probably because, yeah, we're all out of copper. So, good thing we're mining this copper right here, huh? We can take some of that now, shift-click, and we can go ahead and actually make some more sorters here. So we'll queue up a few more of those. Storage, we'll probably want some more of that. Don't forget to double-click. You can either double-click on here physically, or you can double-click for F1, double-click. We'll bring you to here. We'll craft some more of those, but you can see we're out of stone, so maybe we should go for the stone last. Hit F1, rotate. That looks about good there, covering 8 veins. Now, before we hook this up to power, we do need more power. So we have some in our inventory, and you can hit 1 and hit F4 and build. But another quick shortcut to copying and pasting any single building that you own is you can hold Shift, and you can see it says there, Shift copy. Click on that, and now we're automatically in building mode with wind turbines. Shift copy is almost what I solely use to build things in my later games because I've got everything I need basically already out there. I only go to the construction menu when I'm building new things, but that shift copy is insanely useful. So we'll build as many as we got, and we've got more in the replicator. You can see they're actually being made right now. And now our power demand is much more under control. We're generating 1.8 megawatts. So we're looking a lot better power-wise. I'm going to go over here and finish up setting up my stone mining. And again, don't forget, block this off a little bit. We don't need a ton. We can now hook this up to power. F1. And this will encompass everything, including the sorters. Now we're mining some stone. And storing some stone. We'll grab some of that so we can build some more storage here. F4, double tap F1. We can build a few more. Get a few more stone. We can build a few more. So now our replicator queue is working. And I think we're ready for our next technology now that we have our mining set up. Hit T on the keyboard. And I think our next thing should be smelting. If you go to automated metallurgy here and hit activate, you can see we need 10 magnetic coils and 10 circuit boards. Our replicator queue is kind of long with stuff right here. If you need to remove anything from the queue, you can right click anything in the queue and it will stop it from being made. Let's really quick craft these up so we can get our next research and continue on building. We're going to go to components, magnetic coils. We're making 20 actually, even though we only need 10, but you will always need some extra, so it's never hurts to have some extra. Circuits here, again, same deal. And now it's only 60 seconds. Let's not forget what we were building. Maybe some more miners. We'll queue 2 of those up. For the logistics, always good to have some more belts, some more sorters, and some more storage. So we've got that all queued up now. They should be finishing any minute here. You can see the manual research is filling up here. It has made the circuits that we need for our research. So this is just finishing up here. And soon we will have automated smelting. We have unlocked the smelter, and it will automatically smelt base materials such as iron and copper ingots for me. To achieve full automation, you need a sorter to automatically put the ores on the conveyor belt into the smelter. I'm expecting our AI buddy to say something, but he has not. I believe he will once we place the building down. We were gifted 3 to start out, so let me hit 5, which is our new tab, production. Hit F1, and we'll place down a smelter.
You built a smelter, which can smelt basic materials, such as iron ingots and copper ingots automatically, while you want to make the raw materials and products get in and out of it autonomously. You need to use sorters and conveyor belts.
As he said, we'll need to automate this as soon as possible. But for the time being, we can take a look at this here. Smelters do need energy, so you'll need to run power to them somehow. Now in the smelting interface here, you can select this little gear icon. You can see it highlights. It says please select a recipe. So you click, and now you have all the potential recipes you can make. There's another buildings tab here, but this is a smelter, so not really going to be making any buildings from smelting. You can see we've got a few options here. Iron ingots are made from iron ore. Magnets are made from iron ore. Copper ingots are made from copper ore. Stone brick is made from stone. And glass is made from stone. So you can see stone makes 2 things, copper makes 1, iron makes 2 things. We won't need a whole ton of glass and stone bricks in the beginning, mostly iron ingots and magnets with a little bit of copper sprinkled in. And occasionally you'll see stone bricks and glass, but this is the main stuff here. So you can see we'll need quite a decent amount of iron ore. So we're going to go ahead and set it. You set it by clicking the thing that you would like to make. And let's bring some power over here.
The recipe, you can use the less than key to copy the recipe and the greater than key to paste the next building that needs to set the same recipe.
He's giving some spoilers. We'll get to this in a second. But as you can see, it needs iron ore in, and it will give you iron ingots out. I have some iron ore in my inventory here. I can shift click it in, and now it's smelting. You can see it draws 300 kilowatts a second, and you can watch it being consumed in our power grid here. Makes a nice little rumbly sound, and when it is done, it shows you it's needing more resources. We can go ahead and shift click the iron ingots out, and now we have some iron ingots. If I try to shift copper ore, it doesn't work. If you want to smelt copper, you have to clear the recipe with the X.
Recipe set. Please set the recipe you want. After selecting the recipe, you can use the less than key to copy the recipe and the greater than key to paste the next building that needs to set the same recipe.
Yes, thank you, sir. If I click this here and select copper, now I can smelt some copper ore. But like I said, we want to automate this. So I'm going to go ahead and dismantle all of this. I'm going to queue up some more smelters because we're going to need quite a few. We can only make 3 now. Let's see what we're missing. We need iron and circuit boards. So let's go ahead and grab some iron and some copper here. Just shift click those in. As long as you can open the inventory, you can access it. Hit F again. How much would it be to make some more of these? Oh, we can make 2 more. Now what are we missing? Stone brick. Grab some stone. You can see it's useful to have these set up ahead of time. You can make the things you need much quicker. Now we can make 8. So we'll make all 8, sure. It looks like we're low on iron ingots again. But after this, we won't need to really use this inventory anymore. So we can actually put our extra ore in here for now. We no longer need it. And when you pull stuff from this inventory, it'll automatically pull from this space here. So even if it's blocked off, it won't pull from the unblocked space first, it'll pull from any other extra stuff it has in here first. So let's just wait for a few of these smelters to finish up. Actually, we have 8 now, so we can actually get started. Let's start with iron first. Iron, we're gonna need... Actually, you know what? Let's start with copper first, just as a demonstration, because we only need a few smelters for copper here. We're gonna go ahead and build the smelters like this. We'll build 3 here. And now I can demonstrate to you what he was talking about with the recipes. If I click on this one, and I want to make copper ingots, now what I can do is hover over this building, and if I hit the comma/greater than symbol on my keyboard, it will copy that recipe. It says recipe copied iron ingot. Sorry, copper ingot. Now if I go of another facility that can use the same recipe and hit the period/less than symbol on my keyboard, it will paste that recipe. Now, if you look at this, it has it. If I click on this last one, it does not have the recipe. I still have the copper ingot recipe copied, so if I'm in the smelter, I can just hit that key and now it has pasted it in. So there are 2 ways of doing it, but doing the comma period on everything else is a lot quicker because you don't have to click it, you don't have to go into the inventory. So that is a very quick way of copying and pasting recipes if you've got multiple facilities. Next, I'm going to go ahead and hit 3 F1 and run this belt down next to these smelters. I'm going to dismantle these sorters because we don't need this buffer of ore anymore. We're going to use this ore to actually help our smelting here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dismantle each of these sorters, and make sure when it says dismantle, it says dismantle sorter, not dismantle conveyor belt. It'll show you the sorter very specifically. All of the sorter area will light up. Now if you dismantle the facility, you don't want to do that because it'll destroy everything, which is not exactly what you want either. So we're going to go ahead and dismantle these sorters because they're only inserting into this box. We want to take it out of this box. So if I hit 3 F4, we're doing sorters again. If I just click, I can click anywhere on this box and then click on the belt. And I'll do it again, box, belt. You see it's just not quite being powered. It's just slightly out of range, unfortunately. It's fine though. I can dismantle this Tesla tower and I can replace it in a way that works. Like here. It's still connected with everything, and now this sorter is powered. Unfortunately, the smelter is still not within the power range, so we'll probably need to build another Tesla tower. 1 F1, and we'll just cover this area here. A good rule of thumb is 1 mining machine can cover about 3 smelters as far as the speed of input and the speed of output of these smelters. If I go ahead and hit 3 F4, I can connect all these up. Remember, going belt to machine. And now they are working. You can see they are smelting the raw copper ingots. For the time being, you won't see this outputting anything to here. But as this mining machine, it seems to be working fast enough to keep up with this, which is fine. This may never even be emptied, but in the future it may, so we'll just leave this as is. Now we want our copper out of here. Now we can shift click it into our inventory and do that for all of these, but that would get kind of tedious, and this is a game about automation, so we should do that. I'm gonna hit 3, F1. Draw a belt along the side of these smelters, and I'm gonna hit 4, F1, and build a storage unit. I'm going to hit 3, F4 for sorters, and I'm gonna put 2 in to make sure that it keeps up. Now to get the products out of here, we need to output from the smelters to the belt.
You can now click the planet thumbnail button in the lower left corner of the screen, or press the M key to try the planet view mode.
So you can click on the starting facility, the smelter, and click the belt, and do the same for these. And now we are getting our copper ingots out. This is a very basic example of smelting and creating storage copper ingots. Now again, we don't need a ton of these, so we can reduce the storage amount, let's say about there. It's good to have quite a bit, but we don't need a ton. Actually, we'll do another line. 1 line of copper ingots is plenty, because as some are taken from here, more will be made and put in. It's like a constant cycle. Sort the inventory. And now I'm going to do the same setup with iron over here. Now iron has 2 products, as you remember, the magnets and the iron ingots. So what I'm going to do is build another mining machine specifically for the magnets, because this mining machine right here will handle making the iron ingots. So I want another miner for the magnets. I can hold shift and click on the mining machine to copy it. I will rotate and then fine adjust, covering as many veins as possible. I don't believe overlapping veins is any issue. That will be built. Hit 3, F1, build an initial little belt here, come out a little bit more, and then come down here. I'm going to go ahead and actually delete all of this here. And you know what? I'm going to delete this copper reserve over here as well, because this miner can obviously keep up with it, as these miners will be able to keep up with the demand of the next set of smelting facilities I create. I'm going to go ahead to my inventory and just auto-craft all of these. It's quite a bit, I know, but it will all be used, I guarantee it. And of course, if we have any extra, we can always insert it into the storage here. Shift click. Or if you have 2 stacks, of course you can control click all of the items. Let's check our power real quick. It looks like we're running low on coal. Let's run back to our coal processing and grab some more. If you get 4 stacks, that will be enough to fill your mecha. Hit C, control click, and it is now full, with a little bit extra in our inventory for later. Sort inventory, close windows. And just look at this beautiful sunrise. Or is the sunset? You know, I can't really tell, but it is very pretty. As the tutorial bot said earlier, we can hit M on the keyboard, which will bring us into the map view. And look at that.
In the planet view mode, you can hold down the middle mouse button, drag, rotate the angle of view, and hold down the right mouse button, drag to roll the angle of view. Press N key to point to the front to the North Pole.
As he said, I can hold middle mouse button to pan around.
In the planet view mode, slide the mouse wheel to enter the star map mode.
I can hold right click to rotate, and if I hit N on my keyboard, it'll orient me to the North Pole, which is this red icon here, which you can only see in this planet view. As well, there is a South Pole. And you can see all of our little factories working. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but the lines between our Tesla towers are turning yellow, which means we don't have enough power. So remind me when we get back to the ground to make more wind turbines. For the time being, though, we will admire our planet here in planet view. You see our sun here. This is another planet around the sun's orbit with us, or around Zeta Delphini. Zeta Delphini is the star name. It's not the sun, technically. The sun is our sun in the Milky Way galaxy, in our solar system, so. But you understand what I meant, right? It is a very pretty game. And this is our parent planet, Zeta Delphini 2. If we hit M, we'll return back to our robot, our mech, our Icarus, and let's get some more power. Hit 1, F4. We have some wind turbines. Let's go up here and place them. So we've placed as many as we can. If we click on one of these, we can see we are now meeting the power demands once again. This is a constant battle. It looks like our copper is all full up here. This is good. And now let's turn to our iron production. Up here, I'm going to hit 5, F1, and I'm going to make a few smelting facilities. About 3. Here, I'm going to click 1, select the recipe for iron ingots. I'm going to hover over, comma, period, period on the other ones. 3 F1, another belt along the side of these. And here, I'm actually going to change this up a little bit just to work out how I would like. We're gonna do 3 F1. Come down. And come across here. We're going to do 5 F1. I'm actually gonna change that up. Shift click, paste, paste. Now, if you actually have a building with a recipe, here I'm going to select the magnet. If you have a building with a recipe and shift copy it and paste it, you can see it copies the recipe over, which is nice. But in this instance, I did not do that, so I will hit comma on the magnet building and paste paste on the other smelters that don't have it. I will hit 3 F1, draw a belt line for some outputs, and come down to here. I'm gonna hit 4 F1. And I'm going to build some storage here. So 1, 2. And now I need to make all of my other connections with the sorters. So belt in, belt in, belt in, the machine out, machine out, machine out. And then 2 going into the box here. And the same on this side. Belt in, belt in, belt in, machine belt, machine belt, machine belt, and 2 into the box. Keep an eye on what you're using. We're low on sorters, so double click F4. We can make a bunch, so let's do that. Right click to deselect. It looks like we need some power. 1 F1. This Tesla tower covers quite a bit of it. We can actually cover all of it, so we will go ahead and build that. And now everything is rolling. Let's check our power usage. We're about 3/4 usage, so we still have a bit of leeway, and that's with 2 miners going, 6 smelters, multiple inserters, so that's a pretty good sign, but of course we're going to need some more power. And I did use all of my wind turbines up here, so I'm going to hit 1, double tap F4. We can only build 2. What are we missing? Click here. We can only build 1 of these. We are missing magnets. So let's click our storage here. Don't forget to set the limits on the storage, unless you want a bunch of extra. not the worst thing in the world. This is more personal preference, honestly, but I do recommend doing it. Now we have some magnets. We can go into buildings here and build some more turbines. Build as many as we can. We're missing iron ingots. Shift click, more iron ingots. F, assembler, to make some wind turbines. Click. And our queue is quite long now. So we're going to let it do its thing while we finish up here with stone. We're going to do the same thing with stone that we did with iron here. I'm going to want another mining machine, so I can shift click there. We'll put it in another place that works well. Gonna fine tune it. That looks good there. As long as you're covering about 6 veins, you can support, I believe, up to 3 smelters on one line. I don't quite know the exact math, and I don't want to tell you incorrect facts, but I mean, it seems to be a good number with what I'm working with here, so we will roll with it. I'm going to drag this belt down a little bit, and this one will come out and also come down a little bit. And now I'm going to add in my smelters. So 5 F1. We'll do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Gonna do 3 F1. Build my storage lines here. We'll come to here and then maybe come out at an angle. Same here, except for the other direction. The belts will go in the direction that you drag them. So if I go this way, the belts will go this way. If I go backwards, the belts will go that way, as you can tell. It's very intuitive. Let's set up the recipes. Smelter, we're gonna make glass at this one. So we'll select glass, comma, period, period. And on this one, we're going to make stone bricks, stone bricks, comma, period, period. We're getting some more sorters in from when we were queuing them up in our building queue. It looks like we are low on belts, so let's queue up some belts. Okay, what are we missing? We are missing iron ingots and gears. Gears are made from iron ingots, so we just need a bunch of iron ingots. Good thing we have a bunch. So we'll grab a bunch, and we will queue up some more belts. We'll go back over here and start placing our sorters. Belt in, belt in, belt in, machine out, machine out, machine out. Machine out, machine out, machine out. Belt in, belt in, belt in. Let's place our storage. Hit 4, F10. Hit 3, F4. Belt in. And now all we need left, we can restrict these a little bit. Same with the glass. All we have left is power. So we hit 1, F1. And this tower will cover everything. Now let's check our power, because I know we're probably gonna be hurting. Yeah, you see we're at about 80 to 70% efficiency, which is just not good enough. Thankfully, from our replicator queue, we are making more wind turbines. So let's go place some more. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go place some more. I've just been kind of placing them out of the way of me, so that should be fine. Really, where you place them on this planet does not matter. The only thing that matters in regards to wind turbine strength is what planet they are on. So on this planet, we get a 100% times multiplier. You can see wind energy ratio. We get a 100% multiplier. So that's something. If we continue to roll the mouse wheel out, you can see we're into the universe view. So we have our planet here and we get some information about it. We can zoom out further. And we've got another little planet out here, a barren desert. You can see, because this planet probably has no atmosphere, there is a 0% wind energy ratio. You cannot use any sort of wind energy on this planet, it will not work, and even the solar energy is kind of low. But besides those, there are even more alternative energy sources, so don't worry too much about that. And then you can see on this planet really, really close to the sun, it's a lava planet. Wind energy is not great, but the solar energy, look at that, 136%. So solar would be very good for this planet once we get to there, but baby steps at a time, right? So we can go back to here. At any time, you can hit it is the V key on the keyboard to enter this view as well, the star map. And now we're back in planet view. We can try and find ourselves on here. Here we are. Our little facility, our little factory, building up a little Icarus here. Really coming together. Let's hit M to exit planet view and place some more wind turbines. 1 F4 and go to town. If there are any nodes, I try to leave a good amount of space around them just in case we want that in the future, but by the time you'll need more resources from other nodes really will be at a time where you've got other energy. Building pretty much all of them. Look at our replicators, just finishing up some belts for us. Let's check everything in our inventory real quick. We'll hit 1. Wind turbines, we just placed a bunch, but let's queue some more up. Why not? Tesla towers. 2. Some more miners. Why not? 3. Belts. I know we just made some. Make some more. We're low on iron. Let's go grab some more iron. Good in the early game to just have this running. Let's check our mech power. C. Put the rest of our coal in there. Shift click. Check our replicator again. Grab some iron. Check our inventory down here. 2. Double click F1. Make a couple more miners. 3. Actually, I think I already queued up some. I did. We'll remove that from the end of the queue, actually. Double click F1, make some more belts. F4, make some more sorters. Make some more storage. Definitely make some more of these. What are we low on? Magnets. Grab some magnets from our storage here. Double click. Make some more. Replicator queue is all nice and lined up. And we are in a good spot right now. So let's look at our next technology. Hit T. And I think we should do the basic assembling processes. I've been seeing this big flashing button up here, and this is more upgrades. So these are research technologies, and you can see the tree is vast, and you can go all the way. But under the upgrades, we have some other sort of deals here. The very top of the tree is universe exploration. Each level of this gets you more information about your own planet, planets around you, the whole solar system, and your whole other stars around you, and then eventually, you know, the clusters around you of other solar systems of other stars. So it goes all the way, but you see we need these research cubes. And the first one you do is the blue research, which we will get to. But there are other upgrades. This whole section here in the middle is regarding your mech. Your mecha core, which is how much energy you can have, your mechanical frame speed, which is how fast you can move, how many inventory slots you have, how many drones you can control to build things. This one is very useful. I recommend going for it very soon. Energy circuit, which is how much mecha fuel power your mecha generates. So you know how you passively recover energy with your mecha. This increases that passive regeneration. There's drone engine. This is another good one I recommend you go for very early. This is how fast your little drones fly. So the faster they fly, the faster they can build things. The more you have, the faster and more they can build, which will help out with your building speed quite a bit. And finally, this drive engine one is also very important. This allows you to fly, which of course, yes, your mecha can fly, which is awesome. So this first upgrade will just let you fly around the planet. The second upgrade will let you fly around your solar system. This one improves that. And then finally, of course, you can warp to a completely other solar system. Finally, this bottom tree down here affects different game mechanics. So there are some certain things in here that it will upgrade for you. They're pretty much locked right now, but these will all come in very handy later. The first one available to us is this Mecha core. We can queue that up. You can see it's only 20 iron and 20 copper. I'd recommend getting this as soon as you can. We can also queue up some other easy ones. I don't even know if we can do that one yet. We can do drive engine, so we can queue that one up too. Go back to technologies, and let's knock out this basic assembling process. So we have pretty much everything we need. Our replicator queue is chugging along, but we are going to need to hijack it pretty soon here. So let's see, we need 10 gear, 10 circuit, so let's go ahead and make those. And let this assembler, replicator, do its thing. As you can see, it is doing the manual research already. Let's grab some coal. We're gonna need some more for this research up here.
I'll grab a little bit of everything.
So now we have unlocked the assembling machine Mark 1. You can make iron and copper ingots into more advanced products, but its speed is slower. By upgrading technology, you can get a faster assembler. So that gifted us one assembler. And what this facility allows us to do is create different items, different components, like this magnetic coil, this gear, this circuit board, and even buildings. We can automatically create Tesla towers, wind turbines, storage, everything in here can automatically be crafted using these same recipes we're using within our inventory. So let's hear if our buddy has anything to say. I don't think he does until I place the building down. It looks like our next research is already underway and is about to complete. This will just give us another 40 megajoules to our core. So you'll see that jump up here in just a second. Look at that. So now we've got 40 extra megajoules. Now we have our flying research, which takes 60 magnetic coils. We can queue those up right now. Let's take a look at the assembler. If you hit 5 and then F3, you can place this assembler. He doesn't have anything to say. Still nothing. As you can see, we can make the gear, the magnetic coil, the circuit board, and a buildings tab. We can make all of our buildings here, which is fantastic. So let's set up a little bit of production here now. Let's build all 3 of these, why not? We'll get to this stuff later. For the time being, let's just build these basic components. That means we're also going to need a couple more assembling machines. Let's do 2 for each, which means we'll need a total of 6. We already have 1, but you know, it's always good to have some extra too. Production, double tap F3. We can make 17. So let's just queue up 10. And look, it won't even take, well, it'll take a decent amount of time. But we can get started setting this up here with the copper. Let's do 5 F3. And I'm going to do 3 F1 and just run this belt to here. And I'm actually going to reposition this really quick. X, right click, 5 F3. We'll go about there. We need to bring some iron over as well. So we're going to hit 1 and drag this belt continuing from our line before and go to there. And we're also going to need some magnetic coils here. Sorry, we're not making magnetic coils. These are just magnets. let me go here. You can shift click belts as well and they'll do the same thing. And we'll go just like that. And the reason I did a little zigzag here is because we can also output here if we wanted to supplement our belt in any way, which I would recommend doing, as this kind of acts like a buffer. So if we destroy one of these sorters, what this means is if we're getting more demand out of this side than supplying from this side, this will use the buffer internally and place more on the belt than this is inputting. So this basically acts as a sort of extra buffer. And I would recommend doing that on your buildings. So we're gonna go ahead and do that over here as well. I can shift click, copy that. And now we have the buffer set up there. In this case, it's a little bit different, but you can kind of add one manually by doing F1, dragging down, attaching the belt there. And you can do a belt into another belt like that. You don't need any sorters or anything like that to place on the belt. If you're doing a belt into another belt, it will work. But doing a belt out of another belt, like this, does not work. See, it just kind of cuts this other belt off. That's not quite what we want. And now we have to repair this connection. Now what we can do is hit F4 and do our outputs here. Now this will act as a buffer to this belt. And we unlocked our Mecha flight, so let's check that out.
You have received the ability to fly. Double-click the space key to lift off, and then use the arrow keys to control Mecha movement. The moving speed will increase by 150% with more energy consumed under flight mode. Pressing the Alt key can return the Mecha to the ground during the flight.
Very cool. Being able to fly is a much better way to transport around your base. Look at how much faster that is. Now it does consume quite a bit more power, so keep that in mind. Why I have these three components over here, copper ingots, iron ingots, and magnets, is we need all three of them to create all of these initial components: the magnetic coil, the gear, and the circuit board. We're going to head, and our replicator queue finished. We've got a bunch of assembling machines now. We're going to shift click and paste 5 more. Go ahead and drag this all the way down. It looks like the curvature of the planet is affecting us right here, unfortunately. Let's dismantle these real quick. I need to think of something different to work out here. Alright, so after some testing and errors that I was having, I really don't have much of a choice than to do something like this, which isn't ideal, but it will get the point across. So I'm gonna go ahead and build me a pair of machines here. Gonna leave a little bit of space in between, build another pair, and build another pair. So what is going to happen here is we're gonna have here, we will be making the gears, which only take iron ingots. Don't forget, comma, period, copy, paste. And so we're gonna take a line in here, from this side into here, and we're going to take a sorter and place iron ingots on this belt. Now in the middle here, we're going to make the circuit boards. So we're going to copy and paste the circuit boards, and the circuit boards also need these iron ingots. So I'm going to go ahead and do another line here of iron ingots. Now you don't have to do this. This is more so for supply and getting enough iron ingots to both of these machines. So I've got 2 separate belts, but you could very easily pull from one belt and to the other machine. Now the issue I would have is I wouldn't have enough space because these belts can only pull in from 3 away. See how there's 4 spaces in between this belt and this machine? That's too far. It needs to be 3 away. because there's an extra space in between here. This space right here. So sorters can only pull from 3 little grid spaces away. So we're going to continue this down, and it'll be useful to have iron too, so that's fine if we bring the iron down even if we're not going to use it anymore. Bring everything down, and since we need copper over here, and we're going to be building the magnetic coils over here, gonna comma period paste, gonna grab some belts in between here and do the same thing here, and do what we did up here with 2 copper. And finally, we're just going to do 1 along this side, and it's only going to be the magnetic coils, as you guessed. Now this is something that will work. It's kind of like we're pulling off of, if you've ever played Factorio before, this is like a sort of bus. I wouldn't recommend building buses in this game because they don't always work properly. I've just realized a slight issue with my design here is we actually need space for an output belt. So I may just go with this, and this belt will be an output belt here, because we can output the gears here, which we will do. The circuits will go here. Although, how much iron do these need? This recipe needs 2 iron. We're going to output, well, then these both need copper, don't they? But that should be fine, actually. We're going to go ahead and make this our output here. I apologize for making this so complicated, but sometimes it's got to be that way, so we're going to go ahead and thinking. We do want iron here, so we'll bring iron in, and then this will be our output, so we can go from machine to belt. We can delete this extra little nub here. Shift copy, machine to belt. And input here, belt to machine, belt to machine. Over here, machine to belt, output, delete the extra little bit we don't need. We can go ahead and build a storage unit over here. Let's leave enough room for another assembly here in case we want to expand. That should be enough space. And just run the belt all the way down here and curve it around. Now these are both input belts. This is an output belt here, so we can go ahead and bring it out and curve it around like we did before. Shift click this, whoop, deselect the belt, shift click this, and then finally bring this belt down and around like that, and shift click this. Now let's put our inserters on everything else. I see, this was inputting the rings here, and that's putting in the copper. So what I actually need here is a line here. We'll delete that, delete the extra. We'll still do output here. And now we'll just bring everything down a little bit, and we'll input the rings here. And now we can do into the machine here. And we'll do the same for these other ones. You can reclaim any extra belts you're not using. And it looks like everything is almost hooked up. We need our inputs here, so we'll do Copper to there. Copper to there. And we've got our inputs here, looks like. So I think we're ready to hook everything up. Let's hit F1, and we'll just place a couple of power poles here to get everything powered. And our manufacturing machine is starting to run. It looks like we actually missed a building here. So let me go ahead and place another power. And we forgot our input down here. So let's build some more belts while we're at it. And we need to do some inputting of resources. So let's do what we did before. 1 in here and 2 out. For the time being, we can do that. Okay. 1 in, 2 out to supplement. 1 in, 2 out. So what's going on here? Oh, it looks like we're missing our iron in here. Sorry, I think our copper is not making it into these machines because this is going a little bit slow. So what we can do to try and fix this is a little bit janky, but it should work. If we add onto the belt here, we can put another sorter onto there. Ideally, what you would have in this situation is a sorter, or sorry, an assembly machine that is right here that you can take from each of these belts, if that makes sense. See, it can reach all of those. The problem is the planet is a sphere, and because of that, not everything lines up. So if you look at the grid here, it creates a sort of fault line at this point. And when things cross this fault line, things get a little funky, as you can see. And things kind of shift around, and because of that problem, we can't quite have these assemblers line up in a straight line going this way like I wanted. So for now, we're just going to have to deal with this. We need some more power over here, so throw in another power pole. We're actually going to remove that one and put a power pole here. And it looks like this one is just barely getting what it needs as far as the copper goes, because these are both using copper. We really could use some more copper into these. And we can actually, this is all unfortunately very messy, and you see it doesn't even reach. So it's a big bummer there. Just kind of how things worked out, unfortunately, but we are getting some production. Watching it work is pretty cool. Eventually you will unlock faster sorters. But yeah, for right now everything is just oh, this one isn't even getting any iron. So we can try and do the same thing that we did on this side. Although, because what I described earlier, that curvature is not letting us put anything here. Same with here. Yep, unfortunate. Just in a bit of a pickly spot here, but we're making the best of it. So now we're getting enough gears, but we're just not gonna get enough from these, which is really unfortunate, but this is more so, like I said, demonstration purposes. Don't forget to set your limits on here. I'd say a row of each is good. Let's add some more fuel into our mech. He's a little bit hungry. If you have any extra resources, like I've got a bunch of stone here, and I'm obviously not needing to handcraft glass or stone bricks anymore, you can actually go into these machines and insert a little bit of extra. There's a little bit of a buffer. The machines will keep maybe about 25% of their max. They'll just keep like one stack of whatever they need to build the item, so Or, well, I don't know the exact numbers, but basically there's a little bit of extra space within these that it will hold some extra space, and it will use that up before it brings any more in. So as these work and use some more, oh, I messed that up a little bit. There we go. It will use some. So now we're on to the final stretch of this here first day. Let's open up the technology tree and research this electromagnetic matrix. We need some magnetic coils and circuit boards, which we are currently making, so let's grab some. And our manual research will commence. And this will be one of the last manual research tasks we have to do, theoretically. There probably will still be some manual research tasks you have to do that involve materials. I think there are actually a few that I have not done yet, so they still are out there where you'll need to do some manual research, but this will automate the blue research for you, which is what this technology will unlock. So you have unlocked the matrix lab, or rather the center brain connector, and you will use it to upload the matrices to the center brain to obtain technologies. Got anything to say about that, buddy? Guess not. Real quick, let's check our power. Doing good. Let's build us a matrix lab.
Matrix Lab. You can use it to make super matrices or research technologies that require them to unlock. The super matrices are the source code of the center brain for maintaining the homeworld. You could upload as many super matrices to the center brain as possible. You can be benefit to unlock more actual world technologies by operating the homeworld simultaneously.
So what all that means is basically this can create electromagnetic matrices, or it can use them to research. So first, if we click the research button here, you can see it'll take these in as a resource, and it'll automatically perform research for us, because now in our technology tree, we have certain research that requires these electromagnetic matrices. And so we can actually undo this by hitting that button, and to actually build them, hey look what it needs: magnetic coils and circuit boards, which we happen to have some of. So let's actually go ahead and start making those. And let's actually build a few more of these matrix labs too, because there's a nifty feature with them. So if we hit 7, double click F1, we can make 12. Let's make about 5. This takes glass. So right now it actually is smelting glass from our inventory, but let's also grab some glass out of here too. Get rid of this extra stone we have here. While this finishes building our matrix labs. So if you see this little yellow icon on any of your production facilities, that means it's not getting enough resources. Unfortunately, that is the case for pretty much everything here because of how far these sorters have to travel. Like I said, this is not a very efficient solution. I would highly recommend, if you can, building these sorters right up next to the belts in a way that all of your sorters can reach and directly put their resources into the machine. I would not recommend running belts alongside the machines to input items to them. I would only recommend one output belt alongside all of these. You can even directly output from one of these assembling machines right into a storage unit. There are a bunch of possibilities, and I would recommend experimenting. This is probably one of the more inefficient ways you can do what you want to do here. but it does work. So we will go ahead. We built some more of these matrix labs, and since you've got two settings, one for making these cubes and one for using them, we want 2 towers. So let me delete this one here, and we're gonna go over here because there will be recipes that will need these chips and these magnetic coils, so we only want some of them to be used for this matrix production and consumption. So we'll go ahead and just place this by the water, and you can see these facilities can stack. And you can unlock technologies that will increase how high you can stack these facilities. And you can also stack, while I'm talking about it, you can shift click and you can stack the storage as well. So if you want another storage box, a whole nother thing, you can get it. So let's go ahead and we'll take this bell, and things are gonna get funky because that fault line, and take it down to here. And we're gonna do the same with the chips. So in here, let's select the electromagnetic matrix. Let's grab F4 here. Looks like we're low on sorters, so let's build some more. I'm gonna hit 3 F4, and I'm just gonna do 3 connections between these, going from the producing to the consuming. There you go. This is all gonna need some power, so let's build a power pole right here and get it connected. Let's select over here to research. And now let's start hooking up our connections here. We're gonna actually run these a little bit different. We're gonna go all the way across here and then like that. Or we could also go like that. That might be slightly neater. Let's do 2 inputs of each. So one here, and one here, one here. And now we are producing electromagnetic matrices. And you can see they are automatically getting imported into our research here. As this fills up, it'll go onto higher and higher levels. And this is filling up too. Everything is running very nicely. Now to consume these, we just need to add a research to our queue that uses these electromagnetic matrices. So hit T. The next thing I would recommend going towards is probably thermal power here. It only costs 30 electromagnetic matrices, and it'll unlock thermal power stations, which you can burn coal in, or any other sort of fuel that you can use in your mech to give you power. So we can go ahead and activate that, and you can see it's automatically researching. It's doing 120 hashes a second. That's the unit of measurement. Each one of these towers does 60 hashes a second. So as you can see, we can get 60 hashes a second from each, which is 120. Now we are producing these cubes faster than we are consuming them, so let's add another level onto this. Shift click and paste. So now we are researching a bunch at 180 hashes a second, and this is almost done. Gives you an estimated time, and just like that, we've researched our next technology. Nice and easy, no manual research, and now it stops. You can queue up multiple researches in a row, like so. And they will do their research thing. So that is your first day in Dyson Sphere Program. About 2 hours for me. slightly less for you because of editing and whatnot. But you have your first basic factory set up. You've got smelting, mining, production of essential items. You've got research going on. So I just want to thank you all for watching. Just make sure to keep the tips in mind of everything I've taught you, and if you have any further questions, feel free to ask in the comments, only regarding to the first like 2 hours in the game that you have. This is really just a basic overview of how to get yourself started. I personally have played about 50 or 60 hours of this game offline, so I plan to actually start up a YouTube tutorial, or just a YouTube Let's Play series, going a bit faster paced, going at the speed I know, and just playing and enjoying this game. I've got a really cool seed that actually has a sister planet, so you know how we have our gas giant here, or our ice giant, and we've got us orbiting around it here. In this seed I found, there's actually 2 planets orbiting around it. So I thought that was really cool, and I'm gonna go ahead and make that into a Let's Play series. So this is getting started with Dyson Sphere Program, surviving your first day. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a comment and leave a like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.